The only way you can enjoy this movie is if you have a lot of alcohol and a lot of weed prior to watching it. Because that's the only way it makes sense to me. Because if you watch this film sober, you will just hate everything about yourself. And this film feels like everybody was high the entire time. Like, when the company who picked this film up, Phase 4 Films, if they would have had to read the script and been like, I cannot wait to take part in this project, and then toss them, a few $1,000s to whoever came up with this idea, and yeah, and you would have made a lot of people happy that day when you threw them a lot of money. And the only way it makes sense to me is if they were high when reading the script, because no person in their right mind would read a script like this and be like, this is a good idea. Because this is one of the worst ideas ever made. And we've seen films like this done better. This is literally a direct replica of Saw. It has the detective storyline on the side, you have your main group of victims, and then you have a twist at the end of the film that it pulls itself out and tries to surprise you. It's literally beat for beat a Saw film. And then intermixed in all of that, there is the gore and the carnage. This is literally Saw 9. This is literally like Saw 0.1. This is the type of film that belongs in a fire pit in ashes, or belongs in an antique shop in the dusty corner of the antique shop where nobody goes. Because nobody should ever pick this movie up and watch it. And the worst thing is, they actually released this film on DVD and Blu-ray, and people actually bought this. I mean, I'm one of the idiots who picked this movie up because, I thought it was good. Because, this looked like just like a fun bloody time. I mean, when you see a cover like that, I mean, you can only expect that the film is going to have at least some cool kills in it. But what if I told you that majority of the kills that you actually see in this movie are off screen? Like, there's these two girls that the film continues to cut back to, and you're seeing them getting tortured by the original bishop, and it doesn't really have any meaning in the story. Like, there's this connection, I guess, between, what happened back then and then with the copycat killer. And the film just tries to make its story overly complicated, like the Saw films do. But the difference between this film and the Saw films is the Saw films are all interconnected. This film just doesn't make fucking sense. And I can place $1,000 on who the killer is going to be at the end of this movie. Like, so I only made it 40 minutes before I was like, I am done. I'm turning this piece of shit off. I'm throwing this fucking movie in the bin. You have three stereotypes in this film. You have your detectives. You have your, what is it? Sorry, mine is fucking blank at the moment. You have, your popular kids. And then you have your unpopular teenager who, nobody wants anything to do with. He's not invited to any of the parties or anything like that. Out of those three stereotypes, who do you think is going to be the most likely to be the killer? Pick one, and 9 times out of 10 you will be fucking right. Because it is so obvious within the first 10 minutes of this movie that I feel like I don't even have to watch the movie, because the film is so reliant on its mystery and suspense, on like the bishop is back, and and we have a new killer on the loose who's doing these new murders and all that. Like, who gives a fucking shit? This movie, fuck, there's only a handful of movies I have walked out of or turned off midway through, but this film can go fuck itself. Fuck Scar.